And welcome to the South Boston 150 from South Boston, Virginia. As we get underway with round 3 of the NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour. I'm Rick Allen alongside Phil Parsons on a gorgeous day for racing. 81 degrees and clear skies. Let's go down and talk with the pole setter, and Derek Perniciglio's with him.
And through the luck of the redraw, Tim Brown puts his car on the pole. Tim, you weren't the fastest qualifier, but you've got a full field of modifieds behind you. Can you hold them off?
Yeah, I tell you, this Hayes Jewelers Chevrolet was really good in practice, and we drew an early number to go out to qualify, and the K&N series cars put down a different rubber. So my car was extremely loose qualifying, and we qualified in the 7th spot. But the draw helped us out tonight, and we've got this Hayes Jewelers Chevrolet on the pole, and this is no better place to start the race than up front here where we're at. And you know, never raced here in the daytime with it hot and slick, so hope we got the right setup in the car to be good today and put this thing in victory lane.
The sun has been out all day, and now there's a cloud cover. Will that change the handling of your race car?
It definitely will, but the K&N series just ran 150 laps, and that changed the handling of our race car too. They run a Goodyear tire, and we run a Hoosier tire, and the rubber don't match. So definitely going to have a different racetrack than what we practiced on and tested on, and I just hope that we've got the right setup in to be competitive and win the race today.
Well, Tim Brown has finished twice, second in the runner-up championship standings. He's hoping for a #1 here today.
And an 8-time Bowman Gray Stadium champion. Let's take a look at this racetrack, Bill.
What a great racetrack. So much history here. We saw a sign earlier, the Jeff Burton Grandstand. Both Burton brothers cut their teeth here. This racetrack used to be 1/3 of a mile. They expanded it years ago to the 410s.
$17,500 to be divided between 25 cars. Let's go back to Derek Perniciglio.
And you are really in for a treat here this afternoon, guys. 600 horsepower ground-pounding modifieds are about to take to the track. These are the men that work 40 hours a week and then another 40 hours a week on their race cars at home. These are the men that have real daytime jobs. They're your civil servants, your construction workers, and whatnot. And these are the men who live by the grace of God and 600 horsepower.
Thanks, Derek. Let's take a look at our point standings before the green flag flies. Tim Brown out in front by just 9 points over Andy Seiss.
And James Savali actually is going to run both tours this year, the North and the South, for the championship.
Zach Brewer currently 4th in the point standings, and Zach Brewer was fastest in qualifying, but Phil, we line up a bit differently.
Yeah, they do. They draw a pill either 6, 8, or 10. This time they do 8, and then the top 8 qualifiers redraw, and that's why Tim Brown is on the pole for this race.
On through the line in row number 4, we see Burt Myers and Zach Brewer. Again, Zach Brewer was the fastest qualifier at 97.528 miles per hour, but because of that redraw of the pill, he'll have to start in the 8th position.
And I'm telling you, 97 miles an hour at this racetrack is fast.
Very quick, so it's going to be an exciting race. 15-inch tires, so that's one of the things that they have got so much grip. They are moving around this racetrack.
Well, you've got 2,400 pounds about these cars weigh. You've got 15-inch tires, and you've got over 600 horsepower. That makes for some fun, I'm telling you.
That is definitely the recipe for great racing. As we continue on through the lineup, we go back to row 12. In row 12, Brandon Heyer and Mike Norman, and winding up the field is Gary Putnam. So that is the lineup for today's race. Again, the 3rd race of the 2010 season. And up front, Tim Brown will be setting the pace as he brings us to the green flag, the pace car off the racetrack. So he will set the tone as everyone's on their feet here in South Boston. Green flag in the air.
Remember, these guys are racing on a racetrack that has a lot of Goodyear rubber on it. We heard Tim Brown talk about it. Andy Seiss fighting back on the outside.
Tim Brown on the inside, Andy Seiss on the outside. A great battle for the lead. They continue through 3 and 4 and across the front stretch.
Well, these modifieds put on a great show at this racetrack.
Andy Seiss holding on to the outside line. He has the lead at the stripe. But Tim Brown on the inside losing ground now. Andy Seiss on the outside has taken the position. Tim Brown drops back to 2nd. That's the 79 of James Savali.
Contact.
Savali into the back of Tim Brown. He gets into Andy Seiss. They go around, and our first caution comes out of the day.
George Brunhosel also got a piece of that in the 28 car.
Unbelievable. It was Savali who was coming up behind. Looks like contact was made. Tim Brown goes around. Andy Seiss gets caught back up in that. Let's take another look.
Close race, and you see it right there. James Savali gets in the back of Tim Brown, actually knocks him into Andy Seiss. Pretty good contact between Tim Brown and Andy Seiss.
Strategy on the 4 of Jason Myers.
If he can just get his nose up beside of Jason, Jason will have to give him room like he did right there.
Here comes L.W. Miller making the move around the 4 of Jason Myers. Can he make the pass? He has got a very good race car right now. They continue to run nose to tail. Oh, problem. Problems on the racetrack. Gary Putnam in the 77 gets turned around. That brings out our second caution.
Gary gets the car righted pretty quickly.
He'll come back out onto the racetrack, remain on the lead lap. So Gary Putnam brings out our second caution of the day from South Boston Speedway. After 27 laps, James Savali out in front of the field, but a very fast L.W. Miller will restart on his outside. These three setting a blistering pace. Problems on the racetrack. That's the 44. Brandon Heyer gets turned around.
Brendan was running in the top 10. He was running about 6th or 7th when this happened.
And that brings out the third caution of the day. So Brandon Heyer gets spun around, and that will slow us down once again. After 52 laps, Savali still in front. L.W. Miller's been all over his back bumper. And welcome back. Lined up 2 by 2 once again. James Savali on the inside, L.W. Miller on the outside. We'll see if L.W. gets a little better restart this time. Savali inching forward, and a great restart again for Savali.
I would say no would be the answer to your question. Well, L.W. getting a good restart.
James Savali with a great restart once again. L.W. Miller will slide into that second spot. Then it's Zach Brewer running in the third position, and rounding out the top 4, John Smith. With more on that 77 team, let's head back to the pits and Derek.
Well, guys, if this gentleman looks familiar, that's because it's Kevin Bono Mannion. He came from the modified ranks years ago, and he's here helping out his friend Gary Putnam, who's driving the number 77. And of course, you can remember earlier this year, Kevin Bono Mannion helped bring Jamie McMurray to the Daytona 500 win.
This car, the 83. Ooh, caution on the racetrack.
Another caution coming out, and again, it's the 44 of Brandon Heyer. This one looks like it could be terminal damage for that 44.
Yeah, we saw that right front tire there turning perpendicular to the wall, and that's not the right place to be.
Sure not a happy driver in there, and so we'll get the racetrack cleaned up and get ready for the restart. James Savali still in front of L.W. Miller. L.W. Miller all over the back bumper of James Savali once again. Oh, problems in turn 3. 4 cars piled up in turn number 3. That will bring out our 5th caution. Gene Pack, one of the vehicles that is involved in this.
The 15 of Darrell Krentz also involved. There's Darrell Krentz right there. Mike Norman in the 12 also involved. And Buddy Emery right there, bottom of your screen, in the 02 involved.
So 4 cars get knotted up in turn number 3, bringing out our 5th caution of the day. So we'll slip away one more time. It looks as though they're going to have to do a little bit of wall work here at South Boston.